Welcome to Bothell Beat, a show about what's happening around the community of Bothell. I'm Joy Johnston, your host, and I'm here at Cedar Grove Park, just off of 9th Avenue, near 228th, here in Bothell. Its tall trees are reminiscent of Bothell's long history with its trees and the logging industry, which we'll learn about more later in the show. We'll also learn about how to prevent burglaries and more. But first, have you ever wanted to get involved in preserving the natural beauty of Bothell? There are lots of ways to get involved in volunteer restoration projects, which we'll learn about in the next segment.
Projects that we're doing right now is we're helping along North Creek. We've planted over 200 plants last year to help protect the stream area, and we're just going in and removing blackberry and invasives and make sure that we mulch around those plants to give them the best chance we possibly can. Also, if you can see the blackberry, some of the other things that we're working on is removing invasive species. Some of the invasive species in the area take over the native plants, and they actually don't provide much of a habitat benefit for streams, fish, wildlife, that type of thing. So we really work with them to remove the invasives and then give those natives a chance to grow over the top and shade them out. And we have so many great volunteers in the city, and we have everybody from church organizations to the Boy Scouts to local businesses. So today we've got Halo Source here. They're a water quality company that actually helps to remove sediment from water and put it back into the streams. So they do a fantastic service just in their jobs. They actually wanted to give back to the local community, so they're providing this service so that we can help protect those trees that were already planted last year. One of the things I'd like to mention is that the benefits that these projects provide to the volunteers as well as to the community. A lot more people are understanding that each person doing a little bit can make a really, really big difference as a whole. So we have a group of Boy Scouts that come in and they're only 14 years old or whatever, but they complete a project that actually provides a great benefit to the community, and then another organization comes behind them and continues the projects. And this is the way that we can really increase capacity for the city as well. We get a lot of projects done that otherwise wouldn't be completed, and we also allow the volunteers to feel like they're giving back and then to get a better understanding of the benefit that they're providing. One of the things that we mentioned to them is the watershed. No matter where you are, you're always standing in a watershed, right? So you always impact the area you're in. Like right now we're standing in the North Creek watershed. So they get that awareness of where they are, what creeks are in their area, and what they can do every day to make a difference. Little things like, using a commercial car wash, or picking up your pet waste, or not using pesticides and fertilizers on your lawn. All these things collectively can have a huge impact on our environment.
My name is Martin Coles. I'm the CEO of Halo Source, which is a company based in Bothell. And we're in the clean water business. So our mantra, if you like, is we make water better. We operate in countries across the world. We bring water purification devices to India, to China, through business partners of ours. And today we're here as part of a World Water event, a World Water Day event. We feel an obligation as a company that's trying to make a difference in the world to make a difference in the local environment here. So this is our way of giving back in some way. I think an important aspect of what we're doing is really we're a hometown company, both in the state of Washington and then in the Bothell area. And I think in that regard, it's really important that we do act locally. And at the same time, we're doing business in many countries around the world. So concurrent with this event, we have each of our businesses and members of our businesses doing similar things in the countries and the cities that they serve. But this is an important part of walking the talk. We're in the business of making life better for the people we serve, and this is a way in which we can physically do that in our backyard.
Hi, my name's Greg McCarthy. I work for Halo Source. I'm a project manager in our product development group, and today's World Water Day, and we're just taking a break to give back to the community a little bit. We all live in this space together, and we're just rolling up our sleeves and helping out here. So some of the things we're doing, we're getting rid of some invasive species. We're helping out some of the trees that have been recently planted to make sure that they have a long lasting life, and just making sure that we keep this area that we all live in beautiful for generations to come. You know, encourage everyone that, you know, whichever community they're in to, you know, give back and help out.
Thanks to Janet Gear for that great information. Next up, burglaries can happen in any city and at any time. To learn more about what you can do to secure your home against burglaries, we talked to Officer Chad Davis of the Bothell Police Department.
Hello, my name is Chad Davis. I'm a police officer for the Bothell Police Department and currently assigned to crime prevention and crime analysis. Today I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about burglary prevention. By following these tips, you can reduce the likelihood of becoming a victim of a residential burglary. Lock your doors even when you're at home. Remember, this includes locking your garage door and back door. Burglars know that these doors often are the weakest point of entry and provide the most cover from being observed. The weakest point of most doors is either the glass panel or the lock strike plate. Install a 4-screw heavy-duty high-security strike plate that uses 3-inch wood screws to cut deep into the door frame stud. Install solid core exterior doors. Many types of sliding doors can be forced from the outside because of inherently weak latch mechanisms. The good news is that these doors can easily be secured by either purchasing a removable locking blocking device or by simply inserting a wooden dowel or stick into the track. Change your locks if your keys are stolen or when moving into a new home. Lock your windows or block them from fully opening. Most windows have latches, not locks, and so homeowners should use secondary blocking devices to prevent sliding them open from the outside. Similar to sliding doors, wooden dowels in the window track work well in preventing horizontal sliding windows from opening. All blocking devices from windows should be easily removable from the inside. Trim shrubs or landscaping that obscure windows and doors. Taking this simple precaution will prevent a burglar from being able to hide from view while entering your home. Observe and report. Be observant. If you believe someone or something isn't right, it probably isn't. If you see something suspicious, call the police immediately. Too many times, neighbors of homeowners who have been burglarized reported that they saw some unusual activity but didn't want to call and bother the police. When in doubt, call. Pay attention to suspicious people or vehicles when you're leaving your home and returning home and attempt to obtain a good physical description. If someone knocks on your door, acknowledge that you're inside even if you decline to open the door. Criminals often use the ruse of knocking at a door to determine if a home is unoccupied. Call 911 immediately if you believe the person is acting suspiciously. Be a good neighbor. Get to know the people who live near you and exchange contact information with them. Notify neighbors when you'll be out of town. Ask if your neighbor would occasionally park their vehicle in your driveway when you are gone for a few days so that your home will appear occupied, and offer to do the same for them. If you notice suspicious activity around a neighbor's house when you know they are away, call the police to report it. Consider starting a neighborhood watch program. Document your valuable property. Keep a detailed inventory of your valuable possessions, including description of the items, serial numbers, and original value, and the receipts if you have them. Keep a copy in a safe place away from home, such as a safety deposit box or in a relative's home. This is a good precaution in case of fires or other disasters too. Engrave all of your valuable property with your driver's license number. Photograph jewelry and consider having expensive jewelry appraised. Keep your home well lit. A dark house can signal that no one is home. Connect some lamps to automatic timers to turn them on in the evening and off during the day. Use good lighting along the pathway and at your front door. This will allow you to see if a threat or suspicious person is lurking in your path. Have adequate exterior lighting. Motion-sensitive lights are relatively inexpensive and can be a great security for backyards or other secluded areas. Consider installing a quality alarm system. Make sure the system has an audible component. Advertise your alarm system with decals and lawn signs. Make sure your alarm response call list is up to date. If you have it, use it. Secure your vehicle. If you park your vehicle in a driveway, keep your garage door opener out of sight. Lock your vehicle registration in your glove box. A recent trend is for burglars to break into vehicles at places such as movie theaters, malls, and church parking lots and steal the vehicle registration. The thieves will then go to the address listed on the registration, knowing that the odds are good that the owner will not be home, and break in. Question solicitors. The City of Bothell has an ordinance that requires most solicitors to obtain a permit prior to engaging in door-to-door sales. If a solicitor comes to your door, ask to see the permit. If they are not able to provide a permit, report the activity to the Bothell Police Department as soon as possible. For more burglary prevention information or crime prevention tips, please visit the City of Bothell's website.
logging industry had a big impact on the formation of the city of Bothell. In this next segment, we'll learn more about that history.
Logging is deeply woven into Bothell's history. Bothell was founded in large part by loggers. The abundant forests and river made Bothell an ideal location to harvest timber, and logging was a mainstay of Bothell's economy until Bothell transitioned into a farming community in the early part of the 20th century. In 1870, Columbus S. Greenleaf and George R. Wilson filed claims and built cabins along the Sammamish River, also called the Sammamish Slough and Squaw Slough. By 1876, 8 families had settled along the banks of the river, which meandered between Lake Sammamish and Lake Washington through marshes. That year, Canadian lumberman George Brackett purchased the first of several parcels of timber and launched a logging operation. He floated his logs from the north bank of the river, and the logging camp became Brackett's Landing. A Mr. Allen built a store, and in 1885, residents built a school. A sawmill rose at Brackett's Landing in 1887. In the early days of logging, operations such as the one run by the Bothell brothers used oxen to pull logging tram cars out of the woods towards the Sammamish Slough. The book Squaw Slough described the tramway in more detail. The Bothell family purchased 8 concave wheels on which they mounted flat cars and ran them on a tram road composed of pole rails 6 inches in diameter. The oddly shaped wheels fitted over this crude track, which was laid west of First Street to the river. In the later years, oxen were replaced by horses, then railroads and flumes to bring logs out of the woods. After his store failed during the Panic of 1893, Gerhard Ericsson went into business during the hard times, constructing a water flume to transport cedar bolts to the river. The flume was 18 inches wide at the bottom, had 14-inch sides, and was supported on stilts. The bolts traveled down the flume, emptied into the Sammamish Slough in the vicinity of the bridge that spanned the slough from Bothell to Woodinville. It was a favorite sport of young boys to hike to the head of the flume and ride a single bolt the length of the flume. The 7-mile flume allowed some logging operations to keep going, and it helped get Bothell through the lean years of the 1890s. Ericsson, who is credited with giving Bothell its name, later resumed running his store and represented the area in the state legislature. Water was the principal means of moving logs to the mills along Lake Washington and as far away as Seattle. Water was also an important method of transportation for the community, even after the arrival of the railroad. It was possible when the water was high enough to travel by steamboat, rowboat, or barge from Issaquah to Seattle. However, sometimes passengers were asked to move to one end of the boat or the other to get across logs that blocked the channel. Logging after the turn of the century in Bothell consisted of everything from one log carried in a horse-drawn wagon up an unpaved main street to logging railroads that operated in the area. As timber resources were depleted, the economy of the town shifted from logging to agriculture. In the 1910s, most logging operations wound down and the lumber and shake mills closed. The automobile and highways shaped the culture and economy of Bothell after the construction of the Red Brick Road in 1913 and onward. For additional information about Bothell history and designated landmarks, please visit the city's website at www.ci.bothell.wa.us and search for landmarks, or call 425-486-8152.
Thank you to the Landmark Preservation Board and to the Bothell Historical Museum for that great information on Bothell's history and those wonderful photographs. For more information on any of the topics covered in today's show, please visit the city's website at www.ci.bothell.wa.us. For Bothell Beat, I'm Joy Johnston. See you next time.